r/AskReddit by Reddit. Teachers of Reddit, what was the worst behavior of a parent you've witnessed during a PTA meeting? I was in the school library catching up on some homework while a PTA meeting was going on. One of the moms, who had a special needs kid who needed extra resources, had been recently missing a lot of meetings for her chemo. Some woman was livid about her absences and not contributing to the organization, and suggested that PTA should stop funding luxuries for the child of a parasitic freeloader, which meant the kid would have to go to a different school. I'm pretty sure she had some other beef with the mom too, and tried to get her HOA to punish her for leaving holiday decorations up for too long. Had a mom get up during a meeting and loudly announce that the school was failing her daughter because her daughter was gifted and the subjects just weren't holding her attention. The girl was an okay student, but averaged at a C level because she couldn't quite grasp the subject matter. The daughter was not present for her mother's announcement and was a sweet girl who probably would have died 1,000 deaths over the spectacle. And the mom just would not sit down, demanding to know what the school was going to do about it, seeing as her daughter was just so superior to her peers. One year we had to hold a special election PTA meeting due to the fact that the former PTA president decided to embezzle the PTA/school funds for personal use. During the election for a new president, the old president thought it would be a good idea to show up to the meeting to plead her case that she was not a criminal. She ran to the microphone, yelled at everyone that she was framed, told everyone that the FBI was now involved, and that we were all going down, pulled out a vodka bottle from her purse, and threw it at my principal's head. She missed, and then when she was done, got in her car, and backed into a 5th grade teacher's car that happened to teach her middle child. Sadly, that was one of our good parents when I taught at that school. Good times. I've got a good one and a bad one. I'll let you decide which is which. Number 1, I had a really bright student, but this was back when technology was really starting to get prominent. He was more interested in that than in my class. Therefore, when interim grades came out, he ended up with a C in my class. Now this was a student who was a senior, and in his entire life, had never received anything less than an A. Grades went out with parent-teacher conferences the following week. Well, this was a small area, and I knew the mother, and that she would be coming in to see me. I was working an after-school program at the time, so fortunately I could not be in my classroom. I tried to hide, but she hunted me down. I saw her coming, and just dreaded the onslaught that was about to occur. She shook my hand and thanked me, because she knew that her son needed to realize that he couldn't skate through life, and needed to experience some failure before going to college. Number 2, I caught 2 guys cheating. Now if I catch you cheating, I will make sure that I have documents and my personal copies of them to back it up. So I wrote them up for cheating. Within an hour after that, the mother of one of the students came up to my classroom pounding on my door and confronted me about writing her child up for cheating. Meanwhile her son is sitting in the room taking a test. I finally calm her down, since lunch is right after, and we meet in the principal's office. She is still not happy and still cussing me out. We finally get her out, as I have to go back and teach. Planning period at the end of the day, I get called into the conference room. Now the dad has showed up, so I'm in there with the mother, the father, and an assistant principal. I laid out my case, and the father literally came at me over the conference table to punch me. If the assistant principal hadn't intervened, he probably would have. I still have mad respect for that principal. Note, I know the second one is not a special parent-teacher meeting. It was just extreme to me. Also, the parents of the other students met with me and simply asked me if I was going to look at or treat their child any different. Of course the answer was no. I liked both of these students tremendously, and we all got along very well before and after. I wrote letters of recommendation for both for college. They learned their lesson. I just wish the one set of parents would have. A kid pushed a girl down the stairs and then kicked her. At the PT meeting, his mother fought tooth and nail to defend him. Kept saying how the girl probably deserved it for provoking him. She was just going down the stairs. Duck you. Extremely rude, up in your face attitude. coupled with shouting out of her mind, eventually caused us to kick her out of the meeting. Her son did get that suspension, though they switched schools later that year. I was organizing a fundraising event for the school and the PTA president stood up and laughed when I said I wanted to accept a generous donation of local tacos instead of buying Costco cheese whiz and chips to sell. She shut me down after stating tacos wouldn't happen with moving right along. Another parent told me she had told a group of parents that I was off my meds crazy and there was no way anyone would donate tacos. Had a meeting with the mom of a 6th grade boy who was still a total nightmare last year. She shows up to the meeting 20 minutes late and immediately sets up her laptop and wireless mouse, insisting that she still must get work done since she typically works from home. She never touched the laptop once the meeting got going, but she did defend her son at every turn, insisting that it's the teachers picking on him. By the end of the 15-minute meeting she still didn't touch the computer, didn't believe any of the teacher's accusations, and wanted the boy to wear a bodycam to school to see what was really going on. Fortunately, a dean explained to her why that was ludicrous and wouldn't happen. Not me, but my mother. She used to work as a 1st grade teacher and reading specialist. She basically handled small groups of kids while they were learning to read and was an expert at identifying learning disabilities like ADHD, dyslexia, and a number of others that I have never even heard of before. Once she thinks a student has it, she recommends a doctor and usually methods of working around the disability in the classroom, and often keeps in contact with the parent until they graduated in 6th grade. That was as high as the school went. Well, maybe 5 to 6 years ago, there was one student that was an absolute angel, but he couldn't read to save his life and he couldn't keep up with the other students. Even after being held back once already, he was sent to my mom and she immediately could tell he had severe dyslexia as well as several other issues. She asked the parents to come in, and when she mentioned this, they freaked out. They said the teachers just weren't giving their student the right attention, and that their son was perfectly fine. It was the school's fault. This was all screamed in front of their child as well. They then pulled their son out of the school, hired a lawyer, and sued for whatever this would be classified as. They shit-talked the school and spread awful rumors about it too. None of them really held. It was actually quite a prestigious elementary school. Last I heard, the poor kid was held back again and was failing in another school that the parents were threatening. I hope he's doing well now and has learned how to cope with his issues. It breaks my heart to hear about these problems, and that was just one story. There are like 10 other similar ones I've been told. Had a conference with a dad and mom whose child was in 2nd grade. He was around 8 years old at the time. I used to work in a village in Switzerland with a lot of families with migration backgrounds. You could consider yourself lucky if you didn't have to hire a translator for a meeting. Their kid had pretty bad hygiene, couldn't concentrate in school. I wanted to talk about how he's behaving at home, if there is any medical issues, maybe if he has AD. He usually made fun of other kids in class and so on. I couldn't even state my view of their kid. The father came in, said he doesn't like his son to shake my hand because I'm a woman. In Switzerland all kids are required to shake hands with the teacher in the morning and before they leave. Stupid thing. I hate it, but it's just tradition. He doesn't want me to talk to his kid, except it's really necessary. He then stood up and basically threatened me that he would come back and get very angry if he heard one more bad thing about his son. Since then I only had a meeting with this family together with the principal and social worker. Had a conference with the dad and mom whose child was in 2nd grade. He was around 8 years old at the time. I used to work in a village in Switzerland with a lot of families with migration backgrounds. You could consider yourself lucky if you didn't have to hire a translator for a meeting. Their kid had pretty bad hygiene, couldn't concentrate in school. I wanted to talk about how he's behaving at home, if there is any medical issues, maybe if he has AD. He usually made fun of other kids in class and so on. I couldn't even state my view of their kid. The father came in, said he doesn't like his son to shake my hand because I'm a woman. In Switzerland all kids are required to shake hands with the teacher in the morning and before they leave. Stupid thing. I hate it, but it's just tradition. He doesn't want me to talk to his kid, except it's really necessary. He then stood up and basically threatened me that he would come back and get very angry if he heard one more bad thing about his son. Since then I only had a meeting with this family together with the principal and social worker. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.